Hey, it's GW coming to you live once again. Before I get into reviews, I have got to say something about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, mind you, I have the whole trilogy on DVD. I also have them again on Blu-ray. I grew up with the George Lucas era of Star Wars, much like we all did. And I embraced, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. I was even lucky enough, guys, to meet the guy who created Yoda, and I'm giving him a pop, so you can check him out on Twitter and on YouTube, or not on YouTube, but on the internet. He's Nick the Yoda guy. He's very cool. I used to run around, guys, whenever I was 5 years old with a Han Solo t-shirt. So what I'm trying to get at, guys, is I love the franchise of Star Wars. Now, before I go into this picture, I wanted everybody to know that I have a lot of problems with this film. Basically, I don't know what Disney was thinking with this picture, and they almost lost me at The Force Awakens when Han Solo dies. That is my favorite character of all time. And, he was the underdog, he was the gambler, but I am glad they did release a Han Solo film. I'll get into that at some point. But this film I have a real problem with. Basically because of story and basically what some of the things have occurred. Now, if you haven't seen this picture, I don't want to ruin it for you, so please skip ahead to the movie reviews later. If you have seen it, then bear with me, and I'm sorry if I lose a couple viewers, but I gotta tell you guys, I tell you guys good stuff and bad stuff, and I also try to tell you guys or keep you guys informed about my opinion. That doesn't necessarily mean it's your opinion. And I know Star Wars sometimes is a touchy topic. Like I said, I grew up, I have Star Wars figures still to this day. If I zoom over to the wall, you'll see a picture of Kylo Ren. You know what I mean? In fact, let's go do that right now. There it is, Kylo Ren, ladies and gentlemen, to show you that I am a fanatic. Now, I do have more stuff, but it's upstairs and really don't want to get into it. Okay. So, if you haven't seen the movie, please don't watch this review. If you want to know how bad it is, then you can follow along. I'm not telling you what to do. Let's start with the basic premise of this film. This film was geared for Mark Hamill's return as Luke Skywalker, pictured there, right here, guys. Right there, there's Mark Hamill, and there's the late Carrie Fisher. This film was geared to have Luke Skywalker come back one final time and take on Kylo Ren. If you look at the films before this, Luke was always a hero, he was always down to earth, he was human. In this film, Luke is a jerk. He treats Rey like crap, making the audience wonder, exactly what's going on. Because their chemistry should be great. They should be fighting the Empire left and right. Instead, Luke treats her like a second-class citizen. The second problem I have with this film is that at one point in the film, Kylo Ren, who is Rey's nemesis, there's Kylo right there without the mask. Rey is the Jedi, and if you don't know Star Wars lore, you should check it out. But they were fighting against each other to the death in the last picture. In this picture, there's a scene where they work together and you're like going, okay, did Disney flip the script on this? What's going on? Another problem I have is a sequence involving the late Carrie Fisher. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form putting this on her because I understand she made a career out of being Princess Leia, and I really think she does a hell of a good job. My problem with this picture is that I don't read the books, so maybe I'm missing something. And if you guys, you guys figure this out, let me know. But in a space battle, she is ejected from her spaceship into space. And she miraculously comes back with no blood coming out of the nose, no health ailment. She is rushed to the sick bay on this rebel cruiser. My problem with it is that every other film that you watch dealing with space, whether it's Aliens, whether it's, Event Horizon, whether it's Creature, anybody who is thrown out into space spontaneously, they just explode. Their guts come out of their thing. Their ears bleed. They go blind. It's a bad thing, at least in movie lore. Okay? I'm assuming in real life, too. Because there's no oxygen. You would die. Okay. That's thing one. Now we get back to the first thing I said, where this movie is geared for Luke's return. Luke Skywalker does not actually show up in this film. It is a hologram. And at the end, you don't know whether Luke lives or dies. Keeps you wondering. So the whole movie, you're just like going, what? The last thing I want to complain about this picture is that toward the end of the film, to make it a PG-13, because Disney likes to kill off people, there was a scene in the final battle where they are fighting really, crazy. It's toward the end of the film, and it almost seems like the screenwriters were trying to write people off. Now, excuse me, because like I said, it's been a long day. This guy, his name escapes me, but he's fighting along Poe Dameron. No, I'm sorry, that's right. Anyway, I could be wrong, and I know I'm wrong. But Disney almost killed off this character, and in the blink of an eye, they changed, and they killed off another character. It almost seems like the script writing was like, we'll just throw this to the fans, see what sticks. Now, there is another Star Wars production in the works, obviously. Like I said, Star Wars is a franchise bigger than the world itself, almost. There was actually a petition online to make a better Last Jedi movie. It has been signed thousands of times. I've signed it once or twice. Because I really don't think this is that good of a caliber of film. That doesn't necessarily make it a bad film. I think storyline-wise, it could have been lined up better. It could have been done better. But maybe Disney is changing direction. But let's just see what this has to offer. There is a director full-length commentary, 14 deleted scenes, a lot of stuff. And you're looking at a lot of stuff. Now, this film is okay, I guess, in the Star Wars canon. It's a couple of notches above the Star Wars Christmas, which, if you saw that, you can probably dig a copy of that up on YouTube. It was basically a Christmas special put on in 1978 and basically just dealt with Wookiees. But I'm not saying I'm bashing the film. I'm just saying that it could have been done a lot better. And I think once you guys see this, if you're a Star Wars purist and you haven't seen this, you'll agree with me. But the whole movie, I didn't dig it as much as The Force Awakens. And like I told you guys, they killed off Han Solo in that film. But I was okay with it because you could see why they did that. Harrison Ford's getting older. He's talking about one more Indiana Jones film, and that might be it. But he didn't want to play Han Solo anymore, and I don't blame him. I mean, at some point, you got to put down the laser blaster, even though that he's going to live. That character is my favorite character of all time. So, we're going to get off of Star Wars for right now, and we're going to talk about one of the most controversial films ever, and it's Larry Clark's Kids. This film I did see on Cinemax when we first got it. I think it was 2003, maybe. It was a long time ago. And this film is intense. And the scary part of this film is that this could happen anywhere. This is basically a portrait of teenagers, who have no rules. They do what they want. They have sex whatever they want. They don't care about safe sex. They don't care about the Surgeon General telling you that drug use is wrong. They basically do whatever they want. And you see this. Now, what makes this film deeply even more disturbing is the way that it's shot. It actually looks like one of those grainy, sort of suburban nightmares. And there you see the tagline, powerful and passionate, colorful and compelling. Larry Clark's Kids is a 24-hour frenetic hours in the life of a group of contemporary teenagers who, like all teenagers, believe they are invincible. Like I just told you a second ago, rules go out the window with these kids. With breathtaking images from one of the world's most renowned photographers, a deeply affecting, no-holds-barred landscape of words, images, connecting with raw and honest experiences, attitudes, and uncertainty of innocence lost. And it does, and it says this film gets under your skin and lingers long after it's viewed. The kids at the core of the story are just that, teenagers, living in the urban melee of modern America. While these kids dwell in the big city, their story could happen anywhere. Now, I want to make a point to this. Justin Pierce, who plays Casper on this, actually took his own life. He committed suicide. And exactly, what's interesting too is you look at the executive producer, Gus Van Sant. Chloe Spenny. Chloe Spenny's a great actress. This was, I think, her breakout role. This is intense, and I'm telling you what, it actually scared me enough to put on a condom. That's a powerful film. Now, I know nobody wanted to hear that, but I'm telling you, this is affecting, because you look at like modern day America, you even go into a mall. You see a bunch of teenagers there, they don't care about rules. That's what this film is. And I suggest you check it out because it's a cautionary tale. It really is. And I'm not going to go into it. Now, there's a lot of nihilism in this film. There's a character who gets his rocks off by having sex. He thinks he's a player. Justin Pierce's character actually does drugs. Every kid has a vice, and it culminates in one of the craziest things you'll ever see party-wise. But again, my wife has told me, she's viewed this film, that parties like that happen in Butler all the time. So, definitely check it out. Directed by Larry Clark, and it's put out by Excalibur Pictures. Strangely enough, I have not seen any of these people other than Chloe Spenny in anything. So, give kids a try. It's pretty intense, and it's not for younger viewers. This is like 17 and older and up, guys. So check it out. Let me know what you think. It is powerful. It really is. And now we're going to hit the Wayback Machine. This is Haunted Honeymoon. As you can see, it stars Gene Wilder, Gil Radner, and Dom DeLuise, all of whom are comedian legends and all of whom are not with us anymore. This is my first exposure to Gene Wilder. I saw this picture as a little kid. I thought it was the greatest thing because it combined slapstick comedy as well as, a horror movie, a haunting movie, if you will. Now, basically, the story is that Gene Wilder plays Larry Abbott, who has a lot of fears. He's afraid of the dark. He's afraid of things moving. He's afraid of what's behind a closed door. Dom DeLuise plays his aunt, who owns a gothic horror film type mansion. And basically, Larry goes up there, and he is going to be scared to death in order to sort of deal with his phobias. Here's the trick. If he can survive all the frights for a 24-hour period, he gets everything that Aunt Kate has. Her heir he's going to be the heir to her fortune. The fun comes in because everybody in the family is trying to scare Larry to death, including his own wife. There is some pretty freaking funny stuff in here, guys. And this is a classic, and it's also very underrated. The one thing that you will not forget is the werewolf in this film. I'm not going to go into it, but let's just say that it's done really well and it will leave a lasting impression. The other cool thing about this movie is that this film is set in, I believe, the 1930s, because Larry and his wife do a horror film radio show. Now, for those of you who don't know, back in the 50s and 60s, you can look up War of the Worlds. They used to do soap operas on the radio. It was pretty cool. So check out Haunted Honeymoon. At least this film is one of the great comedies of the modern era because you have three comedy geniuses, Dom DeLuise, you know, Gilda Radner. Her sketches on Saturday Night Live are famous. And you have Gene Wilder, you know, Mel Brooks' favorite actor, as I like to call him. He's been on everything. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles. And he's also Richard Pryor's best friend, you know, acting-wise. They did a few movies together. And if you haven't seen it, you need to check out See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Oh my God, that thing is a riot. Richard Pryor plays a blind man, Gene Wilder a deaf man. They're supposed to solve a crime. And it is the greatest comedy, one of them, that I've ever seen. Also, Stir Crazy. I mean, you know, people at work see me do the walk with Stir Crazy. You know, if you haven't seen that film, y'all need to check that out. That's another Gene Wilder great hit. But this one is underrated. Few people know about it. And it came out in 1986, guys. So, it's definitely worth a trip down memory lane. Now, MGM has since put this film back out. Whenever I bought this copy, it was discontinued. So if you get it, I suggest jumping on and getting it now because, like I said, it is put back out again, and it is a classic. But I'm telling you guys, this film will have you laughing, and it's PG too, so anybody can watch this. I think it's a classic, and they don't make films like this no more. You know, this was done in a time where all these actors, and actresses were at the height of their comedy career. And Gilda Radner died shortly after this, guys. So it's no surprise that this has become a cult legend in the comedy era. But I'm telling you, this film is downright funny. I can't even say how funny it is because it's one of those ones that you watch a couple of times and you think it's stupid, then you're going to go back and you're going to realize that these three guys hit it out of the ballpark. So Haunted Honeymoon, put out by MGM Grand. Check it out, 1985. So I hope you like what I talked to you about today. And I'm sorry if I lost some viewers on the Star Wars thing. I don't know. I didn't dig it. That's all I'm saying. So look, it's GW. I'm out. And I just want to say, you keep watching them. I'll keep making them. And Connor, hope you like this. To all my fans, man, I'm glad you guys are actually taking the time to pay attention to me. Because that shows I'm doing something. And I would not be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys pushing me to do this. So, everybody, I hope you check these out. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.